For centuries, the Kabbalistic Tree of Life has been seen as a mystical diagram. But what secret map of the soul does it truly reveal? There exists a map older than any empire, more precise than any satellite image, more valuable than any treasure chart. It does not show continents or oceans, mountains or valleys. It maps something far more elusive and infinitely more precious. It maps the architecture of consciousness itself, the blueprint of creation, the pathway from the finite to the infinite. This map has been hidden in plain sight for millennia, disguised as religious symbolism, encoded in sacred geometry, whispered in the secret chambers of mystery schools from Jerusalem to Alexandria, from medieval Spain to Renaissance Italy. They call it the Tree of Life, the Etz Chaim, but this name barely hints at what it truly represents. Most who encounter it see only a diagram of circles and lines, a curiosity of Jewish mysticism, perhaps an interesting meditation tool. They miss the revelation entirely. What if I told you that this ancient glyph contains the operating system of reality itself, that within its geometric precision lies the answer to why you exist, how consciousness descends into matter, and most importantly, how you can ascend back to your origin while still incarnate in flesh? The Tree of Life is not a belief system. It is a technology of transformation, a ladder of light upon which souls climb between worlds. 10 spheres of emanation connected by 22 paths of wisdom. Each sphere a world unto itself, each path a state of consciousness, together forming a mandala of such sophistication that quantum physicists are only now beginning to glimpse its implications. From Kether, the crown of pure undifferentiated light, to Malkuth, the kingdom of crystallized matter, the tree maps every level of existence from the thoughts of God to the densest stone. But here is what the ancient Kabbalists knew that modern seekers often miss. The tree does not exist somewhere else, in some heavenly realm beyond reach. The tree exists within you. You are the tree. Your spine is its trunk, your energy centers its spheres, your nervous system its paths. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every action you take activates different aspects of this internal tree. You have been climbing and descending it your entire life without knowing it. The origins of the Tree of Life reach back into the mists of prehistory, long before it was ever committed to parchment or carved in stone. The Kabbalistic tradition tells us it was first revealed to Adam in the Garden of Eden, not as a physical tree bearing fruit, but as a vision of the cosmic order, the DNA of creation itself. After the fall, this knowledge was preserved through a golden chain of initiates. Abraham received it in Ur of the Chaldees. Moses encountered it in the burning bush. Solomon encoded it in the architecture of his temple. But it was in medieval Spain, in the 13th century, that the tree as we know it today burst into written form through the Zohar, the Book of Splendor, though its roots reach much deeper. The Sefer Yetzirah, the Book of Creation, written sometime between the 3rd and 6th centuries, speaks of 10 sephirot of nothingness and 22 elemental letters through which the universe was spoken into being. These are not mere numbers or letters, but living intelligences, cosmic forces that continuously create and sustain all worlds. The ancient Kabbalists understood something that modern science is only beginning to grasp. Reality is information. The universe is constructed from patterns of meaning, geometric relationships, harmonic ratios. The Tree of Life is the master pattern, the source code from which all other patterns emerge. In the hidden academies of Provence and Girona, in the mystical circles of Seift, Jewish sages spent their lives contemplating this diagram, not as an intellectual exercise, but as a spiritual practice that could literally reshape consciousness. They knew that understanding the tree was not about accumulating knowledge, but about becoming the knowledge, embodying the pattern until the practitioner themselves became a living tree, a conduit between heaven and earth. Isaac Luria, the holy Ari of 16th century Saft, revolutionized the understanding of the tree by revealing its dynamic nature. The tree was not static, but constantly pulsing with divine energy, contracting and expanding, breaking and repairing itself in an eternal cosmic dance called Tzimtzum and Tikkun. But the Tree of Life was never the exclusive property of Jewish mysticism. The Hermetic philosophers of the Renaissance recognized it immediately as the same pattern encoded in their emerald tablets and alchemical emblems. Christian Kabbalists like Pico della Mirandola and Johannes Reuchlin saw in it the secret architecture of Christ consciousness. The tree appeared in different forms across cultures. The Norse had their Yggdrasil, the Hindus their cosmic Mount Meru, with its various levels of existence, the Buddhists their Bodhi tree under which enlightenment dawns. All were glimpsing the same fundamental structure of reality through different cultural lenses. Let us now explore the tree itself, beginning at the crown and descending into manifestation, then learning the secret of return. At the apex sits Kether, the crown, the first emanation from the Ein Sof, the limitless light that exists beyond all existence. Kether is pure will, undifferentiated potential, the divine spark before it takes any form. It is the experience of I am before any qualification, before any definition. In your consciousness, Kether is that pristine awareness that exists before thought, before identity, that watches even the watcher. Most humans touch Kether only in the deepest meditation or in those moments of grace when the ego completely dissolves. From Kether emerge Chokmah and Bina, wisdom and understanding, the primordial father and mother of creation. Chokmah is the flash of inspiration, the seed of all ideas, the active creative force that breaks the unity of Kether into dynamic expression. It is pure expansive energy, the cosmic yes that affirms all possibilities. Bina receives this seed and gives it form, structure, limitation. She is the cosmic womb, the great mother, who says no to infinite possibility so that specific creation can emerge. Together they form the supernal triangle, the realm of pure archetypes that exist beyond time and space. Below them unfolds Dath, the hidden sphere, knowledge in its most dangerous form. Dath is not truly a sphere but an abyss, a gap in the tree, where direct knowledge of the divine is possible, but where the unprepared ego can be shattered by the encounter. It is the sphere of crossing over, of initiation, of the dark night of the soul that precedes illumination. Many seek to leap across this abyss prematurely and fall into madness or inflation. The wise approach it with humility and preparation. Chesed and Geburah form the next polarity, mercy and severity, the right and left hands of creation. Chesed is divine love in action, abundant, generous, forever giving and expanding. But unchecked, Chesed would dissolve all boundaries, all form, all distinction. So Geburah provides the necessary restriction, the discipline, the sacred no that maintains order. In your psyche, Chesed is your capacity for love and forgiveness. Geburah, your ability to set boundaries and maintain integrity. Most humans swing between these extremes, too permissive or too rigid, rarely finding the balance point. That balance point is Tifereth, beauty, the heart center of the tree, the sun principle that harmonizes all opposites. Tifereth is where the human and divine meet, where the personal self touches the eternal self. It is the sphere of the awakened heart, of Christ consciousness, of the realized human who has integrated shadow and light. When you experience moments of perfect beauty, profound love, or complete presence, you are touching Tifereth. It is the sphere of the true spiritual teacher, the wounded healer who has transformed suffering into wisdom. Below Tifereth we find Netzach and Hod, victory and splendor, the spheres of emotion and intellect in their purified forms. Netzach is the realm of feelings, desires, artistic inspiration, the flowing force of attraction that draws all things together. Hod is the sphere of thought, communication, magical practice, the structuring principle that gives form to the formless. Together, they prepare consciousness for its final descent into matter, processing the spiritual influx from above into forms that can be expressed in the physical world. Yesod, the foundation, is the astral sphere, the realm of dreams, sexuality, and the subconscious patterns that shape our reality. It is called foundation because it is the immediate foundation of physical reality, the etheric template upon which matter crystallizes. All magical work, all visualization, all conscious creation must pass through Yesod. It is the sphere of the moon, of cycles and rhythms, of the automatic processes that maintain life. When you dream, you are in Yesod. When you fantasize or imagine, you are working with Yesodic substance. Finally, we reach Malkuth, the kingdom, physical reality itself, the sphere where all the emanations from above crystallize into tangible experience. But here is the secret the ancients knew. Malkuth is not separate from Kether. The kingdom and the crown are one. The physical world is not a fallen realm to be escaped, but the completion of the divine thought, the place where spirit fully incarnates and knows itself through experience. Your body is Malkuth, and within your body lives the entire tree. The 22 paths that connect these spheres are not mere lines on a diagram, but states of consciousness, initiatory experiences, ways of moving between different levels of reality. Each path corresponds to a Hebrew letter, a tarot trump, an astrological sign or planet. Walking these paths consciously through meditation, ritual, or life experience is how consciousness evolves, how the soul remembers its divine nature while still embodied in flesh. Pathworking, as it is called, is the practice of consciously traversing these connections. The path from Malkuth to Yesod, associated with the letter Tau and the tarot card, the world, is the first step out of purely material consciousness into awareness of subtle energies. The path from Yesod to Tifereth, linked to the letter Samek and the temperance card, is the way of aspiration toward the higher self. Each path has its own challenges, its own revelations, its own transformative power, but the tree is not climbed once and transcended. Life is a constant circulation through the tree, ascending and descending, expanding and contracting. Sometimes we are in Gebura, learning through restriction and challenge. Sometimes we rest in Chesed, expanded in love and generosity. The key is conscious participation in this circulation, recognizing where we are on the tree at any moment and understanding what is being asked of us. The practical application of the Tree of Life begins with a simple but profound recognition. Every experience you have, every challenge you face, every relationship you enter, is teaching you about one or more aspects of the tree. That difficult boss who demands perfection, they are teaching you about Gebura, that moment of creative inspiration that comes from nowhere. You have touched Chokmah, the friend who always supports you unconditionally. They embody Chesed for you. Life itself becomes your teacher when you understand its language through the tree. Begin by studying which sphere you naturally inhabit. Are you predominantly emotional, living in Netzach? Intellectual, residing in Hod? Perhaps you are heart-centered, naturally aligned with Tifereth. Most people have a home sphere where they feel most comfortable, but growth comes from exploring the entire tree. If you are naturally merciful, you need to develop healthy severity. If you are overly mental, you must descend into feeling and flesh. Here is a practical exercise you can begin immediately. Each morning upon waking, take a moment to sense where you are on the tree. Are you in the dreamy realm of Yesod, still processing the night's visions? Are you in the physical density of Malkuth, aware of your body and its needs? Without judgment, simply notice. Then consciously invoke the quality you most need that day. If you face a challenging conversation, invoke Gebura's strength. If you need inspiration for a creative project, call upon Chokmah's lightning flash. If you seek healing, rest in Tifereth's harmonizing light. The middle pillar exercise, one of the most powerful practices from the Western magical tradition, works directly with the central column of the tree within your body. Visualize brilliant white light above your head at Kether. Draw this light down through your skull into the throat area, seeing it become lavender as it reaches the hidden sphere of Darth. Pull it down into your heart center, where it becomes golden yellow at Tifereth. Continue drawing it down to your genital region, where it becomes purple at Yesod, and finally to your feet, where it becomes russet brown or black at Malkuth. Then reverse the flow, drawing earth energy up through the spheres back to crown. This circulation builds the body of light, strengthens the aura, and aligns all your energy centers with the cosmic pattern. But the tree offers more than personal development. It reveals the very mechanism of manifestation. Every creative act, from the birth of a universe to the writing of a poem, follows the lightning flash, the path of emanation from Kether to Malkuth. First comes the will to create in Kether, then the seed idea in Chokmah, its formulation in Binah, its emotional charge in Chesed or Gebura, its visualization in Tifereth, its passionate desire in Netzach, its mental planning in Hod, its astral formation in Yesod, and finally its physical manifestation in Malkuth. Understanding this process makes you a conscious creator rather than an unconscious one. The tree also reveals why certain spiritual practices work. Meditation lifts consciousness from Malkuth toward Kether. Service to others opens the path between Tifereth and Chesed. Shadow work explores the dark paths between Geburah and Hod. Every authentic spiritual practice can be mapped onto the tree, revealing its function in the great work of awakening. Remember too that the tree exists at multiple scales. There is a tree within each sphere, wheels within wheels, as Ezekiel saw. Your physical body contains a complete tree. Your emotional body contains a tree. Your mental body, your spiritual body, each contains the full pattern. Even more mysteriously, you exist as a sphere on a greater tree, perhaps as Malkuth to someone else's Kether, or as Tifereth in a collective tree of humanity. The pattern repeats at every scale, from atom to galaxy, from individual to cosmos. As we reach the conclusion of this unveiling, understand that what has been shared is not mere information, but invitation. The Tree of Life is not a subject to be studied, but a reality to be lived. Every mystic who has walked this path has discovered the same truth. The tree is not separate from you. You are not climbing something external. You are remembering what you have always been. The spheres are not destinations, but aspects of your own consciousness. The paths are not roads through foreign territory, but neural pathways in your own spiritual anatomy that have always existed, waiting to be activated. The secret the tree ultimately reveals is breathtaking in its simplicity. You are the entire tree, simultaneously the divine light of Kether and the earthly kingdom of Malkuth, the loving expansion of Chesed and the necessary restriction of Geburah, the beauty of Tifereth and the foundation of Yesod. All of it lives within you, has always lived within you. The journey is not about becoming something you are not, but about activating what you have always been. The treasure was never hidden. You were. This is why the Tree of Life has survived millennia, why it continues to attract seekers from every tradition, why it remains as relevant today as it was in ancient Jerusalem or medieval Safed. It is not a map of some distant spiritual realm, but a mirror showing your own divine nature. Every time you contemplate the tree, you are not learning about God. You are remembering that you are an expression of God, a unique configuration of divine consciousness, exploring itself through the magnificent illusion of separation and return. The ancients encoded one final secret in the tree. The Hebrew word for tree, etz, has the same numerical value as the word for advice or counsel, etzah. The tree itself is the advice, the counsel, the teaching. It says simply this: you are whole. You have always been whole. The journey from Kether to Malkuth and back again is not a fallen redemption, but a cosmic game of hide and seek that consciousness plays with itself. And now, perhaps for the first time, you are beginning to remember the rules of the game. If this revelation resonates in your bones, if you feel the stirring of recognition rather than the acquisition of new information, then the tree is already awakening within you. Your work now is not to believe but to explore, not to accept but to verify through your own direct experience. The Tree of Life awaits, has always awaited, will always await. For it is nothing less than your own deepest nature, spelled out in spheres and paths, waiting for you to read the message you wrote to yourself before you forgot you were the author. The map is complete. The territory is you. The journey begins now, in this moment, with this breath, in the recognition that you are simultaneously the seeker, the path, and the destination. Welcome home to the tree that you are.